Hi, writing class. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. Great work last week editing your sentences, making sure to add in any missing punctuation marks, missing capital letters, and missing commas, and fantastic job writing such creative stories. Nice work making sure to use your key vocabulary words and making sure to look over your 4 checks. So keep up the awesome work. In today's class, we're going to be looking at lesson 48, part B. So once again, we're going to be writing a story. We'll work on the first half of the story together, and then I want you guys to finish the rest of the story on your own. So let's get started. So let's look at part B. All of the pictures are blank. I'll tell you the first part of a story. You'll use the first part to help you make up the rest of the story. So let's listen to the first part of the story. Mike had been on a basketball team for 2 years, but he had never played in a game. Today, his team was playing for the city championship. There were only 2 minutes left in the game. The score was tied. The coach looked at Mike and said, "Come here, Mike." So once again, that will be the first part of our story. Don't worry, we'll read through it together again. Now we'll go over some of the key vocabulary words and some of the checks that you guys will use to help you write your story. So some of the vocabulary words are championship, game, minutes, tied, and basketball. And then I'll read the 4 checks. Check 1 asks, is each sentence punctuated correctly? Don't forget to start each sentence with a capital letter and end each sentence with an end mark. Also, please don't forget that we need to put quotation marks around exact words that somebody said, and then we need to add in our commas. Check 2 asks us, are there any unclear words in your paragraphs? So once again, before we can use the words he, she, they, or it, we first have to introduce the person, the people, or the item in the previous sentence. If we don't do that, then the word will be unclear. Check 3 asks us, did you write at least 3 sentences that need commas? So remember, sentences that begin with a part that tell when or where, sentences that begin with the words if, although, or unless, need to have a comma. Also, if we're combining 2 sentences with the word but, we need to remember to put a comma before the word but. So 3 of our sentences in our story will need to have a comma. And then check 4 asks us, did you write at least 5 paragraphs? So remember, we start a new paragraph if we're writing a new part of the story, and we start a new paragraph if a new person is speaking. So let's listen to the first part of the story one more time. So I've written it out and we can go through it together. All right, so we have Mike had been on the basketball team for 2 years, but he had never played in a game. Right, so we put this comma before the word but because we have to remember that each time before the word but, we need to have our comma, right? So our sentence is, Mike had been on the basketball team for 2 years, comma, but he had never played in a game. Our next sentence says, today, his team was playing for the city championship, right? And we have a comma after the word today, right? We have that comma there because we need to have a comma after a part that tells when. So when was his team playing? Today. So once again, our second sentence is today, comma, his team was playing for the city championship. There were only 2 minutes left in the game. The score was tied. And then our next sentence says, the coach looked at Mike and said, "Come here, Mike." Right? And after the word said, we have to remember to put a comma. And then the exact words that the coach said were, "Come here, Mike." So around those words, we have our quotation marks. So what I want you guys to do now is using those key vocabulary words and using your 4 checks is to finish off the rest of the story. So remember, we need to have at least 5 paragraphs. So you're going to have to write 4 more. So you can make up what Mike said, you can make up what the coach said, and make up the ending of your story. If you have any questions, please let me know. So once again, I'll show you what the first part of your story will be, and then just finish off the rest of the story. Keep up the awesome work, guys, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye!